Hey, what's up ladies and gents, Spoony Pizzas here, back again with an EA FC 26 video. This is going to be a beginner's guide, so how to basically start your manager career and get things going. So you've probably played FIFA or EA in the past and you have the typical manager sort of career mode, which you're probably familiar with. But what I'm going to look at today is the new live manager career. And I think this is really exciting. And this is the one I would always opt for if I was recommending anyone to start a new career. The reason being is because you get these challenges. So what we're going to look at here is if you look across the top, you can see starters for you, core, domestic, etc. And these are basically just challenges and they offer you rewards. So the reward on the right hand side is a USA retro shirt. And to do that, all I need to do is select Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, or there's 9 other teams I could select from this. And there's some restrictions here. So I can't quick sim, I can't sim match, can't create a club. And you've got to win 5 matches in the starting league. There is one condition. You can only sign players on loan. Down the bottom, we've obviously got some other ones here that you can also use for starters. One that I've completed here is just transfer improvement, and they've got tons of different challenges: Hop at Christmas, points deduction, European elites, and so on and so forth. So I just put in 5 teams and it came up with all these different types of rewards and challenges. So I'm going to go for this one, and you can create your own club, but I'm going to go authentic club. And here basically pick a team that I want to use. Maybe Southampton, they got St. Mary's Stadium. These are the ones I tend to go for. So I go for deeper simulation. The manager market, I leave that on because that allows you to select and manage different clubs throughout a season. The board expectations, I tend to leave that as strict. So it does put you under a little bit of pressure to do well. I leave both the scouting speed on normal for both of those. Unexpected events, I always have this on. For a match, I tend to leave the half at 4 minutes. Legend difficulty, as that's what suits me. The youth matches, I tend to put as like 3 minutes. And full potential. I turn off the quick sim, the sim match, the tactical view, play highlights, and match restart. Game type match settings, like I said, keep that authentic. Wind effects are dynamic. That allows them to be a little bit different every single time. Leave the sliders. You don't need to touch CPU sliders, but I would leave the AI behavior tactical. That makes them pretty good. And then training plans, this is up to you, but I tend to turn that off, and I also turn the drills off. But I leave the development rate of seniors and youth slow. Make sure those are slow, otherwise players will develop a little bit too quickly. When it comes to injuries, I leave this as I do for match suspensions and release players. When it comes to transfers, loose is good for me. I tend to find on for scouting, on for searching, and normal speeds for both of those. Then general settings, leave the board strict, international job offers on, market manager on, market realism default, deeper simulation. Obviously I'm pounds sterling because that's where I'm from England. Youth Academy on, unexpected events on, unexpected events frequency. I would set this to high just to make it a little bit more fun. This basically means that you get events happening, like your team could get like food poison, so you got like half the team missing. Players may retire early. Someone may get a broken leg from training, etc. So yeah, and then like I said, we have those points deduction, so we're going to go from -5 points from the start of this season just for effect. Okay, I'm going to create a brand new save. It just gives you a brief update just to say hello and welcome, and you can then sign the contract. So once you're in, you are ready to go. The first thing you want to do is just work through these tasks here, and that would be your sort of daily thing as you go game by game. So the first thing you want to do is select your tactical vision. Okay, so this is going to give you an idea of how you want to play. Do you want to play the sort of balanced approach? Do you want to attack down the wings with overlapping runs with the wing play? Do you want to keep the ball, play tiki-taka style with possession? Do you want to play high pressing or park the bus? This just basically gives you a sort of a tactical vision that will determine how your players are generally going to play, and it will change their player roles, etc. to accompany that. But also on this screen is coach management. And a lot of people forget that coach management is here. Basically here you just select coaches to train your players and help them develop a little bit quicker than you can see on the right hand side. Basically you just go to a midfield, select the coach. Now you want to use your tactical vision. So if you are balanced, which is scales, you need to know it's scales. So then you're looking for the scales in this column here, tactical vision. Now there's accomplished, there's expert, and if they are expert, they can cover more of the different types of roles. So this one here is 5 stars. We could go and get him, and that would add 5 points to the achieved. So each star is a point. And what I would recommend is just trying to aim for the ideal. You're not going to be able to cover all the ideals in your team. You just can't hire that many coaches. You now need to meet your squad. And this is all about, well, you can do lots of things here. You can add players to the transfer list. You can add them to the loan list. You can block offers. You can set their development plan, team sheets, team management, kit number. You can release them. You can delegate the renewal to your coach. You can negotiate their contract yourself if you like. So there's lots of options here, and I'm going to go through more of these a little bit later. You can press right bumper. You can see their stats, attributes, and also the financial, which is useful for like trying to identify where the contracts are, and you can sort on any column. So if you want to press square on your PlayStation controller, you can sort it so we can see this guy's only got 11 months left of his contract. He's worth 3.8 million, so you probably want to like renew his contract. You don't want him to just go for free. We've got hire coaches. I've already gone through that already. And also a new email from the assistant manager, basically welcoming you to the club. And he's always going to give you sort of advice as well. So you can say that here. It says, we feel that Oscar Rodriguez in particular has outstanding ability and the potential to become a world-class footballer. He's a young man we believe has a very bright future at this club. So you can go to your youth academy. So we can go to the youth squad and find Oscar Rodriguez, 76 to 94 overall rated. We can set the development plan. And what I would do here is when it comes to this is that you want to choose sort of the best benefits. So you can see here, ball playing keeper gives me training to 1, 2, 3, 4 of the stats, 4 for these stats, and 3 for these stats. So what kind of makes sense is the ball playing keeper, but obviously his diving doesn't get a buff, but his kicking, handling, reflexes, and goalkeeping position does. Or in my opinion, I see that his goalkeeping diving is actually pretty low, so I would boost his goalkeeping diving. So I would probably go for sweeper keeper until his diving is at least up to his goalkeeping handling. And that will also change the role that he plays within the team. And you can see the role growth there in the middle of the screen. It says sweeper keeper with an up arrow. That means he's improving in that area. And you've got 2 plus signs. Once they've hit the 2 plus signs, that means they've maxed out and know that role inside and out. And then you can switch him to a different role. After training, what you'll do is you'll get an email to say that their training is complete and they can accept the role. If you want to change that role, you just come to the screen and press the triangle to apply. It will tell you at the bottom of the screen as a prompt. And if you apply that, he will then become a sweeper keeper. So it means he will come out from the goal and act as a sweeper when those balls played over the top of the defense. Okay, so before I move on from here, we do have this feed on the right hand side. You can use the right analog stick to flick between certain screens as well. So we've got the calendar, which gives you your next fixtures. We have the league table, which is really useful. You can just press the triangle to see more, and this will bring up the league table for you. It's a really, really quick way to look at the league table. And also you get the feed as well. So if you push up and down on your right analog stick, you can flick between the different stories of what's going on. And you can also look at those stories just by pressing square. So we can see, congratulations to Ruben Amorim, who's been appointed the new Southampton manager. Fingers crossed for the new boss. Now we're going to go through the different screens at the top. So first off, notifications. This is your emails and your player chat. So basically players will come to you and say, hey boss, I don't feel like I'm getting enough game time. Please pick me. And then you can just say yes, no, just depends if you want to get rid of them or not. You can make them unhappy if you want to try and oust them out of the club quickly. Or, if you want a higher value, give them some game time and then sell them. That's up to you. Emails is where you're going to get all the emails around transfers, the board, anything like that. Sort of coach management as well, status on up, injuries and stuff. So it's all going to come through there. But you will be notified on this central tab anyway about any emails coming through. And text. Squad. So we've got the tactical vision, which we've pretty much covered. But that is, remember, like I said, that is where you're going to find your coaches, your coach management. So don't forget that. A lot of people forget where they are. So that is where you find your coach management. We have the team management. This is where you're going to select who's going to start in the squad. This is where you're going to basically move the players around. Who's going to fill what position. At the top, we've got right bumper. You can press right bumper. We can move to tactics. Now, when it comes to tactics, you want to go across to the right and select new tactic. You want to create a new team sheet. But I'm going to show you how to do that first. And it's right here. Team sheets. Click enter team sheet. This is, I had a lot of problems with the default. It kept resetting. It kept changing by tactics on its own. So go to new team sheet, call it something like, I don't know, 4-3-3 if that's what you're going to play. Then you go to your tactics, click edit tactic, go to tactics, go to new tactic, call it 4-3-3 as well. We're going to make it active by using the right log stick down the bottom there, select active, and then edit tactic. We can then select the tactical preset like we said and talked about earlier. I'm going to play a 4-3-3, and a formation that works really well offline is this one here. The build up I tend to leave as balanced, and I use a high defensive line, but it's up to you how much you want to do this. You can change it as much as you want, but yeah, the high defensive line. And then you've got with the ball, without the ball, how the formation looks, and the different details on how you're playing. So you can press right bumper and you can change how players play based on the sort of instructions you're going to give here, and there's loads to give. You get the different roles, pick the right role first, and then you can choose the focus, because that will differ depending on the role. So if I want an inside forward and I want him to attack, I'd leave it like that. If I have this player here, Flynn Downs, and I want to make him a holding midfielder who is focused on ball winning, I can do that as well. So it's up to you how you want these tactics to look. So that's the player roles. That gives you a lot of idea of where it's going. You can press the square button to show the activity map of each player and where they're going to be sort of occupying. So if there's any squares untouched, then I'd recommend changing the tactics so they are. Then we have assignments, and this is pretty standard. It's like, who's the captain, who's the left short free kick taker, right short free kick taker, so on and so forth. Corners, throw-ins as well. So I'm going to save that team sheet. So we've got that active at the minute. We've got the squad hub, which is what we talked about earlier. Like I said, we can go in here, set the development plan, transfer list them, etc. Already covered that. Also shows their morale as well. Development plan is just another way to get straight into the development plan. What you can do here, you can select the player, select what you want them to do, and then you can use the right stick to go to the next player. So it's very quick if you want to go through your entire squad and set up a training plan. So I've already gone through all those within the space of like 2 or 3 seconds. Onto the transfer screen now, and I'm going to talk to you about the scouts first and the scout report. It's best to start off with the scouts. So here are the scouts. So this is predominantly used for scouting players around the world. We're going to hire a new scout. So on this column here, we have the scout name, we have the scout experience, judgment, and also the cost of that scout. In the top right corner, we have the transfer budget. That is how much funds you have available to spend on players and scouts, etc. So do take that into consideration, the price of the scout that you're going to hire. So experience, the more experienced a scout is, the larger the number of players he was going to find. And the judgment means he will find higher quality players. So players with better potential. We're going to sign Sang-hun here, and now he's readily available. I would always leave at least one scout readily available. And the reason I do that is because he can then be set to scout an individual player, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So Taylor Middleton here is searching England at the minute. He has 12 players that he's scouting currently. Toby is in the Netherlands, Neil is in Portugal, and Tanik is available. So if I want to send Tanik to a country to scout, so from here I can then designate him to an area of the world. Once you have your scouts in the various areas, if you press the right bumper, we can then give them instructions. So you've got 6 slots here to add instructions. So this instruction here is you're looking for anyone between the ages of 16 and 50 with the contract ranges between 0 and 5, and they're looking for a first team prospect, any playstyle, any focus role. And here you can see he's found 7 players, and you can see he's been scouting for 17 days. So if I want to go to add a new instruction, I want to look for an attacking right winger between the ages of 16 and 24. Contract I'm not too bothered about. I want a player that suits my playstyle. I want him to be a first team prospect and a world-class prospect. And for his playstyle, it would be nice to have some finishing, passing, and ball control. And that is how you set up an instruction. It is very specific, but I would try to make it not so specific so you get a wider group of players showing up on your scouts radar. Now we're going to move to the scout report. So as your scouts find players, they will be detailed here. Okay, you can press triangle to change the view. See the player on the right hand side. You can see their potential. You can see their age, height, weight, their foot preference, and also their stats. You know, it's not going to give you an exact stat. So we've got a wide range of players. And what I would say is look at the potential and look what you'd accept. Would you accept Jamie McDonald if he's a 66 rated player? Because that's his potential. He could be a 66 rated player. So you literally go through these and go, this guy here, 70 to 91. He's got a potential of 91. I like the look of his pace. I like the look of his dribbling. I want to look more at this player. So I can sort of use the right analytic to scout through, and he's a winger, plays left midfield. You get a little bit more detail on his stats here. Get to see more of his stats. And then you have the play styles. These tend to be hidden until you fully scout a player. And if you want to know his exact stats, you can then scout that player. So just tap X on this player, and then we're going to scout him. By scouting him over a number of days, we'll find out what he's all about, what he can do, and we'll also find out if he's got any player traits, which are actually really useful in FIFA. We can shortlist him, which adds him to our transfer hub, which we're going to do. And we can also look at his team stats. So we can see just how well he's doing in comparison to the other players in those positions, just to give you a good idea of how well he's performing. At the very top, if you press the right bumper, you can flick between the players that this scout is searching for. So I'm looking at midfielders now. These are all the midfielders. If I move right bumper again, I go to defenders, right bumper again, I come to goalkeepers. So I'm going to also scout this player here and also shortlist him as well, the Leeds United goalkeeper. So we've gone through the scouting, searching for players. Now, if you've got ball knowledge, then you can literally type in the player you want to search. So if I was a Manchester United manager, maybe I want to look at Baleba, for example. Just go down, tap on him. We can see here, but again, like all we know about Baleba is he's got a release clause of 68.2 million. We don't know anything else about him, so we can scout him as well. But that's another really good way of finding players. We can reset by pressing square, and then we can search for, maybe if you're at a low club, maybe you want to look for free agents, see who's available on the free agent list, and you may be able to pick up some bargains here, like Memphis Depay, free agent. That wouldn't be a bad signing, would it? So again, you can scout him. And a reason I would scout him is sometimes you want to know his weekly wage and his market value, so you know what to offer a club. You know what to offer him in terms of a weekly wage sometimes. And that's really important, because when you negotiate with the player and the club, that's when things can get tricky. Because if you don't know their weekly wage, you could end up giving them too much or too little, and they'll just say, no, that's not enough for me. And they will literally just walk away from negotiations, and you won't be able to renegotiate with them for a period of time. We have the transfer hub. So this is really good. So these are, remember I said I added some players to my shortlist? This is where they're going to appear. If we click on them, we can approach to buy them. We can approach to loan. We can delegate to buy with our coach. So I can just tap on that, and you can start the offers and don't offer a higher than. You can set these, but obviously we don't know much about him, right? So we're going to wait for him to be scouted, and you're going to see that progress bar change, and we're going to see what his stats look like. We can press right bumper, we can see what offers we've sent out, what offers we've received for players, and also any players that we transfer list will appear here. And then we have transfer history, so you can check out the latest transfers from across the world. So at the minute, we haven't really progressed the game in any way, but there's nothing to show here. Academy, so we have the youth tournament, which is a very small match between 3-on-3s, and it's a small pitch. That's why I set these games to 3 minutes, because that's usually enough. Over here we have youth scouts, very similar to the other scouts, except this time we're going to be looking at potential from across the world. So if you want a good, and once again you've got experience and judgment, works exactly the same way. So we're going to send Antonov to Brazil to scout, and he's going to do it for 9 months for a mission cost of 360,000. And you can select which 4 positions you want to look at. So maybe I want to look at the spine first, and maybe a right winger. Now you can select up to 3 roles. So maybe I want a goal poacher, a deep line playmaker, and a defender. And I can start that mission and then just confirm. So he's off to Brazil looking for a defender, a midfielder, and a goal poacher who can also play on the right wing or centre forward. Like I said, this is a great way for a low division club to bring in some really high quality talent. Over here we have the youth development plan. Sort of showed you this already with Rodriguez, but just wanted to show you where this is kept if you wanted to go back to it. The next tab across is office. So we have objectives. This is very important to understand or remind yourself of what you need to do in terms of what the board are expecting from you. And if you press right bumper, you can get an idea of your job security. At the minute, it's safe, but they want you to win the league title, and that's a very, very high objective. So you definitely want to be there or thereabouts You're talking like top 3. Otherwise, your job security could be in danger. And then you've got reached the round of 16 in the FA Cup. We have the league standings, but I already shown you how to get here quickly by the menu in the start screen. We have the calendar, which is a great way if you want to skip matches or certain dates. So if I want to skip up to the window closes, I could just jump to that screen there. So I'm going to jump to the 6th, and it's just going to simulate until the 6th. You can do this for whole seasons. Say for instance, you've won the league already. You may want to skip the last 3 matches, and you can literally just jump anywhere you want here. With this challenge, suing matches is disabled. We have the budget overview in the office. This is a good way to see just how much you've got available to spend on players. If you press the right bumper, you can go to transactions. You can also see the costs of player wages, the scouting networks that you've got going on. And then here you have the budget. And this is how much you've got to spend on scouts, on players. So the current budget is 12 million. You have my career, so you can look back at what you've achieved so far, such as your trophies and your records, as well as your current progress like we're seeing here. The manager market is a great way to find a new job. So over the course of the season, job security will change and the apply for job button will appear if a job becomes available. You can switch divisions by using the right stick, and this goes across all leagues, so you can literally go here, there and everywhere. There's plenty of options as well. You can press triangle to pick a certain competition quickly. If I want to go to League 1, for example. If there's a particular club you want to watch, just press square. So if I want to look at Bolton and Burton Albion, I can press square and add those to my watch list. Now if I press right bumper, I can go to that watch list and keep an eye on them. And then right bumper again are suggested teams. And then on the right hand side, we have player stats. Statistics aren't available yet as no tournament has started, but you can check back here for in-depth player stats. Then we have the ability to customize. So you can customize your manager's appearance, outfit and accessories. You can edit your players, the pitch, the boots, accessories. We can adjust our settings here, and we can also save our progress. So that, ladies and gents, is your complete beginner's guide to the manager career mode, and hopefully you guys are going to find this useful. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks guys for watching. Bye bye.